go, Analysts After Work. That song always puts me in a California mood. I don't know. It's just it's got that nine. I mean, I'm a child of the '90s. Grew up in the '90s. Grew up with a lot of Dre, a lot of the East Coast, West Coast. Love that tune. Welcome to Analysts After Work, episode 3.3. With me, and I'm honored, beyond honored, to have with me Steve Jones, AJ Hawley, the new hosts of my brother show, not my brother show, of a brother show, Analysts After Dark. I'm so happy to have you guys. Welcome back to the show, both of you.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
I figured, you guys had your first episode last week. It made sense to we'll do a little bit of a retrospective, and then we'll just kick it for an hour, and we'll see what's going on. We'll just see what's up. So, but now I've gotten flack from both of you for deviating from my start. So you know the drill. We'll go back to what works. Steve, what are we partaking of today?
I'm going with the boring water for now.
Okay.
I need to be able to make dinner.
Oh, dude, we got stuff. Like I'm not gonna fault you. I don't think I've ever faulted anybody. Maybe in the first couple episodes, because the drill. I explained this to you. I explained what the first question was so that you'd be ready, but I haven't faulted anybody. So you're good, dude. Water's good. But I know I can always count on AJ. AJ,
I'm partaking in a whiskey. I had walked into a Total Wine not too far from where we are, and I was picking up some stuff for some family that was in town this weekend. And I think the saleswoman that saw me, she said, "Sucker," right there. And then she came in and said, "I have this new whiskey that you should totally try." And I think she's just trying to sell it. And I bought it hook, line, and sinker, and it's okay, but it's not great for $50.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like I said,
that
was one of those, you see it at the counter, you're like, oh, well, do I put it back, or do I just kind of chalk this one up to a learning lesson?
Right. Yeah. And learning lesson.
Indeed.
Yeah. That happens, man. So I'm doing the math on what a $50 bottle is here.
Yeah.
And I'd be very disappointed if I dropped $70 on a bottle that was just absolute crap.
It's not crap. It's not crap. It's just that for $50, I would have put my money elsewhere on something that I know. But how do you know what you like if you don't try other things? And so it's the cost of doing business is what it is.
And that's fair, right? Like we've been debating that since Seinfeld and Mendy's. Like, do you go back to Mendy's because it's good, but
right,
you've been there, or do you try something new and you might be disappointed, but you tried something new? So hey, kicking it in Mendy's. Cost of doing business. There you go. Yeah. All right. Well, I knowing that you two are going to be on, I had been kicking it with the water lately. I do have water with me, but because this was a gift from my dear friend AJ, I wanted to break open this Buffalo Trace. I guess it's bourbon, but it's whiskey, but it's bourbon, and I've not tried it. I've poured it.
Oh.
It's here, but gentlemen, to your debut show, congratulations and cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, that's nice. AJ, you know your bourbons.
I know a couple things.
You know some things. So you had your show. It debuted last week, and I see that there's a bunch of people here: Imal, Walter, Rachel, Judy, Danelkis, friends of the show. Brienne, I think that Brienne, if I'm not mistaken, this might be your first time checking in. Although we connected at BBC. Scott Bennett's here from IIBA. Good reps from IIBA today. So you had your show, and folks, if you're here and you didn't see the show last week, Go and check it out. Debuted last Wednesday evening, 8 o'clock, and Coach Vic was your first guest. Not that I'm disappointed that I wasn't guest number one, but whatever. But what was your experience? Like, how did you guys feel in the lead up, and then how did you feel coming out of it? Like, was there just relief, or how did you feel?
I felt like I was bummed that it was only an hour long. I felt like we could have talked for another hour, and it would have been just everybody hanging out and having a great time.
Right.
In fact, I think we did talk for another hour after the show.
We did.
Right. Which is cool, right? Like, because
Yeah.
the conversation doesn't have to stop unless you're like me and it's like, okay, now I got to go hang out with the fam and all that stuff. That's the advantage of doing the After Dark, is like kids should be in bed, for those that have, and like there's no limit. So I often thought about doing the After Dark as a separate, in the Discord channel or Discord server or something, like for the insiders. But I didn't, and I don't have the time, and I'm glad you guys are like, just seeing how you are putting it together. I am convinced, and I'm going to say this now so that everyone can hear it. I am convinced that one day your show will be the show and I'll be the afterthought. And I'm good with that. And maybe my show doesn't exist anymore, but I think your show it has a lot of potential to be a lot of fun.
I feel like it'll change. It'll just deviate differently. There's After Work, right? Which is like the quick, maybe happy hour crowd, right? And then there's After Dark, which is maybe we delve deeper into things. Who knows?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And eventually we'll do like analysts having coffee.
Oh.
And we'll, so if anybody wants to host analysts having coffee, hit me up. If anyone wants to do analysts in the morning, hit me up for, and like, we're creating an empire here. And so there we go.
I know that they have the BA Cafe, right? And that's early morning our time, but it's
early for us.
Yeah,
it's very early for us. Although I've complained about, so I can only attend the BA Cafe when it's like Friday is a holiday or something, because it does. So starting next week, I'll probably be back at the cafe. And Walter's here from the Netherlands, from Amsterdam, from the Dutch chapter, and like, he's I know that he's been there. Anyways, Steve checks in even though it's early. Mufaro from the Bay Area IIBA chapter checks in, and it's like 3:30 for her. Like, I like you guys. I don't like you guys that much. But
I think I said the same thing on the show last week, was that if I'm up at 5:30, it's because I'm still up, not because I got up.
Right.
Yeah.
I like this one. Hans, we got to bring you in. Hans Ekman is going to host Analysts and Eggs, our morning show. I think Hans has the temperament for a morning show. What do you think?
What about like excellence in analysis?
Ooh, see, now we're building something. Now we're building something. So, but overall, it was like a good experience. I'm jealous. I gotta get Coach Vic on here, because Vic's a fun dude.
He is a fun dude.
But yeah, it's been so it's a good experience, and you're ready for show 2.
Yes,
are we, Steve?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right.
Yeah.
So
show 2. I'm volleying it up, but you got to spike it down. When is show 2, guys?
Wednesday, July 5th, 8 p.m. with the phenomenal Jamie Champagne.
Jamie, you guys got Jamie Champagne?
We got Jamie Champagne.
We did.
How the hell did you do that?
A lot of champagne.
A lot of champagne. Cheers to that. That's a fantastic response.
Yeah.
So Jamie is the reason why I stopped giving people flack for not having anything to drink because when we were doing the show, she's in Honolulu.
Yeah.
And so we do the show at 5:00. It's 11 in the morning where she is. It's like, it's hard to say, no, you're going to drink scotch. You can't do that. So
No, I've got an Irish coffee. It's all good.
I mean, you could, but like, I felt bad. So that's awesome. So next Wednesday, July the 5th, 8 p.m., Analysts After Dark. And with Jamie Champagne. I think that's going to be great because, Jamie's pretty cool. She's okay. She's okay.
Jamie's
More
fun.
than okay.
She's fine.
And we're talking about fun.
Yes.
Yep.
Talking about making work fun.
Good. Do you find that having a theme, because this has been suggested to me, do you find that, I'm going to learn from you guys now. Do you find that having a theme is helpful to the show? Or, because this is just completely freewheeling. And like, we don't really have a theme. A theme generally develops, but there's no theme. Do you find that having a theme is helpful?
I do. Just because.
When you have,
yeah, go ahead, Steve.
When you have stress about not having some kind of structure, then yes, having a theme helps. It provides guardrails at the very least.
There it is. Okay, so it's a personal sort of approach to things. So we all speak at we're all speakers. And we'll talk about AJ making his keynote debut later in the fall. So you guys should all check that out. Very excited for that. It's sad that I'm not going to be there, but we'll talk about that anyway. But I find that we all have different approaches, and I'm sure that you guys make it look effortless, but I'm sure there's a lot of preparation that goes into a keynote or a session, a workshop. There's a lot of preparation. I cannot do that.
Like time-wise or just mentally?
I'm not an over preparer, so I will mentally prepare.
Okay.
Like a framework, but I don't really I don't sequence things of like, okay, first I'm going to talk about this and then talk about this and then I'm going to talk about this. I can't do it. I just, because I'd like to get up and just tell stories. And so I like to let the conversation happen. That's what I thought of this as. It's just like, let's see where it goes.
You like to fly in, drop your truth bombs, and take off.
I like that. Steve, you just said in like 3 seconds what I took 30 seconds to stumble through. But yes, I like to just say what I need to say, have some fun, drink some bourbon, and like just hang out. Because I think, especially when you have a group where there's some level of familiarity, we could fill an hour easily.
Sure.
Well,
Steve and I actually talked about this going into the conversation, saying not tonight's show because no one prepares to this show. This
is like anyways, go ahead, please.
So we were talking. We were talking about what are we trying to do with Analysts After Dark, and we came up with our own kind of lens of discernment, and it was going in and learning what people are struggling with as analysts, coming up with a platform to share that openly and just be able to say, here's open, honest feedback about where things are, where we are, or just have that, framework to be able to have open conversation and then be entertaining. So those are our 3 areas where we're trying to make sure that we are focusing all of the content and have fun, but do it in a way that's you're going to get the real stuff versus the stuff that people should tell you, right?
Right. The training.
Yeah. This should not be training. Like I see this as just fun. These shows are meant to be fun. Ultimately,
and we give the practical response as opposed to the training response. They're not the same. They're definitely not the same.
Right, because when things and maybe this is just a style thing, but like I like Q&A. I like that format of like I don't know what's coming. And you just have to be like we do. Hans and I do the Spy versus Spy, which we need to rebrand because it's not really hitting the mark as a name. It's awesome. It's an awesome session, but we essentially debate each other for an hour. And so far we haven't thrown things at each other. We still kind of like each other. But like, it's just, you don't know what the audience is going to ask you. And so you need to be prepared for everything, which means you can be prepared for nothing.
Fair. Can I ask why you need to retitle it? Like, what's the
we're finding that people are reading the title, they're reading the session description, and they're not understanding what it actually is.
Yeah, is that because so it's a Mad Comics reference?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Spy versus Spy.
Yes.
And so then, is that because there's a demographic reach, or I'm trying to ask this in like a simple way. Have you reached an age where it's like some people get it and then half the audience just doesn't, because we're getting a different generation that didn't have Mad Comics?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. So it's possible. I hadn't thought of it that way, but what we're finding is people are attending because it's like the session's description kind of sucked, but we know Hans is pretty good, so we're gonna come see Hans. Like that's how we're drawing the majority of our audience. It's all Hans. It's not me at all. It's all Hans, and also people know that he gives stuff away like stickers and yeah. I mean, so yeah. Oh, Hans has the best swag.
Yeah.
Yes, Scott. We were talking about some names. I'm not going to say that this one came up, but this was the idea. So thank you, Scott. Always on point. I like Scott. But yeah, that was it's not that the session is bad. It's just people aren't connecting to what the session description is, and so they will come and say, I like Hans, let me go see him, or I've seen this idiot, he's kind of funny, let me go see this guy. But otherwise it's like, nobody's picking our session over the 10 truths of Agile, like, because Agile is so hot right now
and has been for the last 10 years.
It's like Hansel. It's so hot right now. Yeah. So, but anyways, I prefer that format of just let me get up and answer questions, and I'm good. I'm happy
because you don't have to prepare. Makes it easier.
Yeah. Yeah. Now
we know the truth.
I know that was a backhanded compliment. I think just like everything, I've swung a little bit too far. So I do have some new structured sessions coming out in the fall. I think they're going to debut in Chicago at VA World. So I do have some new stuff coming out. I think I just got a little lazy, but I do have some new stuff coming out because I need to find that balance between I want to answer questions, but I also need to put something together that's not just me on stage. So it's not just conservation of effort. Heard. It's not just conservation of effort. Listen, of all the people that we know, I have to conserve effort just because there's so much effort being exerted in things that are not seen immediately, like LinkedIn learning courses. That is significant effort. I will not even start to articulate because I don't want to. When you've got 12 to 20 plates spinning at once, you need to conserve that effort. So that's what I'm saying. So I took a year off. I got lazy, but let's just put it this way. About 2 months ago, inspiration struck, and I wrote out 3 new keynotes that are just ready to roll. And whether they're used as keynotes, whether they're used as track sessions, that's an Amy call. It's not a me call, but they are gonna get ready. And I've started doing a lot more keynotes, and it's a lot of fun. To us as professional speakers. Cheers.
There you go. Cheers.
Cheers. This is delightful stuff, by the way. AJ, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I actually had a session come out of the Toronto event.
Okay.
After hours.
Uh-huh.
I was having a few drinks with Hans and Dan Simon and Leslie Hughes. And then we went to
all friends of the show.
All friends of the show. And we went to this whiskey bar because, of course, we're going to. And it happened to be right across the street from the hotel. So, that's fantastic. And had some of the best customer service from a bartender that I've ever had. So that, I think, applies to a lot of the things we do as analysts. And so knowing the customer, knowing what they want, being able to kind of go back and forth and say, well, is this what, and try this, or, and he challenged a little bit as well. So I went back to my hotel room that night and wrote an entire dissertation of that experience, and then had bullet points, and I'm ready to take that somewhere and do something with it.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Maybe I'll pair that up with Dan's bartending session, and we'll just go back and forth and then do something there.
I really like Dan's bartending session. I almost said their ending just to keep the joke going. I really like Dan's bartending session. It's like you're being just like anything. He's telling you a story, he's explaining things, and he's entertaining you, and he's mixing drinks. I love that session, and I keep telling Dan that needs to be a book. You need to turn that into a book. But
and he gives it away, the drinks.
Oh sure, I mean, once you've made them, you may as well.
So right, I mean, it's like the reverse Gallagher show, right?
Right,
so you actually get the drinks,
right,
and you don't have to wear them.
What was the name of the whiskey bar that you went to? I'm curious because I can't think of one down in that area.
It is attached to the Delta Hotel.
Oh, you were at a different hotel. I'm thinking at the Intercontinental. Sorry.
No, it's right across the street, and the name of it is escaping me.
That's fine.
But I know it's at the Delta. So
it's on King Street, which is a pretty trendy street. I think the Delta's on King.
I think it's on Simcoe.
So Simcoe runs north and south. King would run east and west. So
it could be on both.
It could be on both.
In the corner.
So there you go.
Anyway, directions.
Yeah, look at us. So speaking of now putting together your thoughts, keynote debut.
Yeah.
You excited?
I am. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I've had some thoughts in my head for several years that I think it's socially acceptable or more acceptable to get those out. Yeah. Just we're at a time where a lot of this is going to be I'll share without sharing.
Please.
But a lot of this is thinking about
if you need more $50 whiskey, keep drinking and then tell us stories.
Talent juice. Yeah. No, no, I think there's a lot of things that we don't question often enough as analysts, but just even as people at work. And we take things, we just go, someone gave this idea, someone has an idea of what they want, and we don't push back enough saying that this is what we should consider. And then and I personally have gotten in, not say trouble, but ruffled management feathers because I've always asked why, and I wanted to know why they're making me do something, why I'm trying to do this, and then what happens if I don't do that. And I don't think that we ask those questions enough. Figure out, well, is this something that's needed, or is it I'm doing this because it's just always been done that way? And not doing things gives us an ability to see what happens. Does something break? Does something fall down later on? Oh, I see this caused a massive problem, or this was just one of those administrative tasks that we had to do because someone decided that it checked a box somewhere. Thank you so much, Scott Bennett. Into the win.
Scott is just on fire today. Nice. Scott, appreciate you, man.
Yes, that is the place.
So I mean, so the time, so your timing there is really interesting, and I sort of inferred that from your title of your keynote, which is debuting at Project World Vancouver.
That's correct. In
November, I believe. And I don't know if I said this before you joined in the backstage. I know I said it to Mr. Jones here, but I did exactly what you are describing there, where you're constantly pushing and probing and asking why and questioning, and it almost is a superpower. And I did that at the government for a long time. And I think if my dates line up, yesterday actually marked 1 year since I gave notice
Okay.
at that role, before moving to Infotech, where I'm at now. So, because you're right, that everything you just said is spot on. Management doesn't like it, particularly in a very highly bureaucratic organization.
Right.
Management doesn't like it. Stakeholders don't like it. And yet, it's usually the right thing to do, because either you stop people from making a stupid mistake,
Right.
or your questioning reinforces that their perspective is correct, but maybe there's some gaps to close. So, it's really it's a win-win to push, to question.
As long as they see it that way.
That's the
trick
thing, right? That's the trick. Is sometimes I know in my case, they were just like, this dude's being a pain in the ass again, and we don't want him here. And I think that's a very immature, and that's not like a schoolyard immature. It's a sign of a very immature organization from an analysis perspective, that they're not prepared to have those discussions. Now, that's all I'm going to say on that, because everything we're talking about here is actually the subject of a LinkedIn learning course that I just recorded 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
So
I was going to ask you another question on it.
Please.
And a little further.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you found out that organization, or at least the area of the organization that you were in, wasn't prepared to have that conversation. And there were two, as you mentioned, immature to have that.
Mm-hmm.
And did you find that you outgrew that space then faster? And you said, well, I'm not set up for success in this role because I'm not able to ask questions and really get to root cause of situations. I'm just filling a position.
Yeah. And I like how you have assumed the mantle of host of this show. I love that. So I'm just gonna do this because you're so now I'm being interviewed. Yeah, I did. And so it very much it had been feeling like that for a while.
Yeah.
And there's a saying that I use in a couple of my keynotes, where it's like, if you find yourself running into a wall, turn around. Like, you can only hit your head against the wall so many times before you have enough.
Sure.
And I think, what's troubling is I still believe in the mission and the values, but it's just the ability to operate was no longer there. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And the move that I made, I am infinitely, and I'm not just saying this because Hans is here, who I work with, and anybody else, and it's being recorded for posterity. But I don't work with Rachel. It's weird. It's the same company name. No, same company name, different companies. Yeah, it's really weird. But yeah, I'm infinitely happier where I am, because I actually have the ability to have the impact that I wanted to have. I can actually have that impact on organizations around the world.
Sure.
And so it's like, I get to help like 30 companies, 50 companies, 100 companies instead of one. I mean, that's a solid trade-off. And it aligns with my goals and my values of making the world a better place for everybody. La 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 la.
See, there's only so many times that Kool-Aid Man can break through the wall.
Yeah, where do you go from the Family Ties ending of the theme song ending, right? Where do you go from there?
Back, I had to pull that knowledge from. I heard it. I'm like, is that Family Ties? And then
that's Family Ties.
Man, that took me a minute. Speaking of older shows that are no longer on, there's a new Netflix documentary about American Gladiators. Have you seen this?
I've not seen it. It's on my list. Is it good?
Good so far. I'm only a couple episodes in, but I'm like, I'm addicted to it already. And my wife is just looking at really? This is on? It's like, come on, this was a great show.
And most of them are on YouTube.
It was a great show.
Yeah.
American Gladiators was legendary.
Who's your favorite?
I think so. I don't remember because I think I've conflated it with the two characters that appear in The Simpsons, Pyro and Gyro, and so for a while, Milhouse's mom, Luann Van Houten, separates from Milhouse's dad, Kirk Van Houten, and dates one of the American Gladiators, and his name is Pyro, and then ends up cheating on him with his best friend Gyro, and they end up battling over her in the like the iron battle balls. So yeah,
Atlas Ball.
Sorry, dude, it was the 80s, man. I don't remember.
And 90s and 2000
and 90s, but I don't remember. I didn't have a favorite gladiator, but I had a favorite game, and it was the one where they shot the tennis balls from the cannon.
Assault.
That was the best one.
Yes.
That was the best game.
I want that cannon, and I just want to build it, for just my own purposes.
Keep saying, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think it'd be awesome at like a dog park not to hurt animals, by the way, just to shoot it so they chase it and come back, right? So like that'd be awesome. Just you'd launch it. You could have your own ball launcher. It's angled up, and then you get to shoot tennis balls. I think they would love it. You would love it. Sounds like the most fun thing ever.
Yeah.
Even more fun is if you load it with lacrosse balls.
Is a lacrosse ball? I've not played lacrosse. Is it a different ball?
It's solid rubber.
I just want to address this comment. Brienne, that's why I said it. That's exactly why I said it. Mr. Jones and me tell each other fairy tales. So it's a solid rubber ball. Okay. Well, that could hurt.
Yeah, that would hurt. Big bones.
Leave a mark. Yeah.
Yes.
I keep telling Kid One, because we used to watch this show called Science Max that was on. It's on like Canadian TV, and basically this dude takes science experiments and takes them to the max. So he built a vortex cannon, which is just like an air cannon out of a garbage bin, those big round garbage bins. Yep, and so you see this like. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
You see this like funnel of air just shooting out. That I think would be fun. So I keep saying we're going to build a vortex cannon. We haven't, but we're going to do it maybe this summer.
They're not as powerful as you think, though.
I know, but I just want to like be able to like blow out candles. I thought that would be a cool way, especially during COVID, to like blow out candles with a vortex cannon.
It's actually, that makes a lot of sense. And
right.
Yeah, no, as a complete germaphobe, I think that I would be behind that. If you had your own birthday cannon and you got to just kind of release that a little bit instead of somebody spewing all over the cake that you are blessing it with their own, saliva.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, totally. So patent pending, the birthday vortex cannon.
Yeah.
The BVC.
I think we'll come up with something like that. It'd be fantastic. We'll give it away during Spy versus Spy 2 or whatever you want to call it.
Good.
And then those will be the next things that Hans hands out. Win, win, win.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it. We got onto this by talking about you making your debut in Vancouver.
Yes.
And so you're on the whole circuit with Amy, who's just checked in. So
woo-hoo.
Yeah. Now, Stevie,
yes.
Are we going to see you outside of the Boston area? The Boston area?
Not this year.
Not this year.
Not this year. I need to get my passport in order. Maybe next year.
Okay. That's a good reason to not be able to leave. Although you can leave Boston, right? Like you can go to other states.
I can now. Yes.
Okay.
Legally, he's now allowed to leave the state. The ankle monitor that he had.
This is where I was like, wait, is there something? Yeah. But
family obligations kept me local. So
I got
now that my son is done with school,
Congratulations.
It's enabled opportunities.
Well, that is tremendous. Because you're one of the boys. We like you. You're okay.
I would love to be around.
You're fine. It is, and I mean, you get to experience the different vibe of all of the different Project World stops or Project Summit. Sorry, in the States, it's Project Summit. But I don't know, AJ, you probably felt that. Every city has its own vibe.
It does.
Yeah. Boston. What's your favorite one?
I can't say that I have a favorite one. It is all uniquely different, and I really enjoyed Boston last year because it was my first time there, and I got to walk around a little bit. So I did take a day and walk around Boston, and I loved how walkable the city was and how you could just explore from everywhere, and it was like the perfect time of year too. So it wasn't like super hot or anything. It was great. But
I mean, you were in like Boston proper, like.
Correct. I did take an Uber down.
That's what I mean.
Yes, not in Burlington.
Because we're in Burlington,
right?
And so of all the conference, I'm gonna totally just like rank them.
Do it.
Of all the conferences, Boston is my second favorite.
Oh,
second favorite. That's not bad, Stevie.
What's your favorite then?
It's my second favorite, and I'll tell you why. Because it's in Burlington and it's so far away from everything else, other than that stupid mall where we go for legal seafood and what's the other? Cheesecake Factory. Thank you. Other than that, there's nothing in the area, which means everybody stays in the hotel, and it's a huge, like, there's a huge community vibe there, which I really dig. My favorite is Orlando. Yeah. Amy already knows because we've had this conversation. Orlando, and it's not because of Orlando. It's not because of that. Orlando is by far the best one because, one, you're in Orlando, and
two, the coffin cooler.
Well, so one, you're in Orlando because, especially at the time of year it's held, we still usually have snow, and to have a week in Orlando is nice. But also the whole vibe of the conference, and I will credit a lot of that to Amy, but I'm going to credit even more of it to Hans, who drives down from Atlanta, brings his like survivalist cooler, which would last 30 days with ice, and it's a great time. It is a great time, and I'm with Amy as well because Amy and I have had this conversation. Toronto is by far my least favorite. I hate Toronto the most. And I love you, Toronto. I love you. But as a conference, because I'm local, it sucks. So there we go. Yeah. See, Hans, everyone knows Hans makes the Orlando event fun. And we don't even need to get into the conversation of that this year we went to Disney and we took Amy and pushed her around in a wheelchair all day.
Yeah.
Like that's a whole other story. But I would say Hans makes that event fun. Brother, you're welcome anytime. I would say it even if I knew you weren't here. You make that event so much fun. And so like that to me is my favorite one by far. By far.
I think everyone is down there too. It's like, I want to learn, but I also want a vacation. And it is in April when the rest of the country generally is like, oh, it's cold or coldish, and
cold, miserable.
Right. For me, it's just a couple hour drive, so it's the same. But I've tried to help Hans a little bit, and I'll bring a selection of whiskeys and some of my faves. And so if you see me there and you're like, hey, where's the stuff? Then give me the Analysts After Dark special. Then we'll come in there and we'll show what's going on.
Yeah. I didn't realize there was an Analysts After Dark special. We'll have
to we need to make a drink now.
We'll have to talk about that.
That'll have to happen after dark. After dark. Yeah, there were some very unprofessional, not on our end, by the way, the joiners that have come in years past, and they've added to conference stories that were not a part of the conference at all, attendee or otherwise. They were just at the venue and have made
yeah, no, I was
and
So
Jersey represent.
I wasn't gonna go there where I think you're going.
Yeah, okay.
I wasn't gonna take it there because I'd rather have Vic on to talk about that. I think you know what I'm talking about.
No, that's a whole separate conversation.
The Boston incident.
No, that was Boston. I'm talking about Orlando still.
Oh, okay. No, I'm talking about
the representative from New Jersey.
So, that dude.
That dude.
Okay, so I wasn't there. I heard the story though. Okay, yes. Yeah, sometimes you meet some interesting people at these conferences, and that is a reality because the world doesn't stop. So, AJ, you've been to now, Steve. I know you haven't. AJ, you've been to Chicago, right?
That's the only one I have not.
Okay, so you haven't seen the furries.
That is correct.
Okay, so that.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, I haven't seen them in Chicago.
You haven't seen them in Chicago. That is a whole experience, man. That is a whole it's
Listen,
something to behold.
I live in Florida.
The home of Florida, man.
You want to talk about weird stuff that happens? I can go down, in Tampa and in Ybor City and see some weird stuff tomorrow, and it's just a Thursday, right?
Right.
Oh yeah.
Or Tallahassee.
Tallahassee.
Sorry, did I say it wrong? Tallahassee.
Well, no, you said it right.
Tallahassee. I don't know.
Oh, I love it. No, it's good, but yeah, there's stuff all over, and I say weird, but it's just things that I don't judge. I don't care what anybody else says. Like that's fine. I might not necessarily partake, or I might just be a part of it, just to say, hey, I was there, I watched, and we all had a good time. So, but there's a lot of just I like analyzing people, if that makes any sense.
Oh, totally, dude. I'm a people watcher, totally. And you create backstories for them, and I
have so many questions about because I don't have that perspective. So then now I'm just naturally curious. I want to know how did you get into whatever you're into? What are the rules? Because there's different rules and etiquette for all different sorts of things.
Of course.
And and I kind of want to know, how do I show up and not be a jerk, right? Can I just show up and show up and for somebody else? Hey, you know what? I support you doing whatever it is you're doing. That was the gentleman.
Yeah. Or and I was gonna say, or get whacked. How do you learn without getting whacked, right? Because this is an important thing.
And I found what has worked for me in the past. If I find myself in a sticky situation where I need to either exit immediately or I need to divert conversation, it's like, you know what? Have we had drinks yet? And then let's have some drinks together. And that has solved a couple problems for me in my life socially.
Yes, which is also a story that you shared, which we won't get into. But I think
it is a great story.
I think that's a story for After Dark. I think After Dark has the ability to go into the really dark places of the human soul and tell those stories. So if you want to know those stories of AJ getting out of trouble and hijinks with
I like that.
with drinks and alcohol at bars in random places.
Yeah, they don't
you gotta check out Analysts After Dark. It's not.
Try to keep it focused on the analyst profession.
Steve, I'm trying to Steve.
That's for the after
I'm
dark.
I'm trying to get people to your show. Not that I think you need it, but I'm trying to get people to your show. Just let me pimp you out. Let me do that, please.
Wow. So now it's definitely going after dark. We have a different intro, I guess we'll have to create then.
Yeah.
That'd be the new segment for after the first hour.
Vince pimps us out.
Yes.
No, honestly, guys, I want your show to be an absolute, and I have no doubt that it will be an absolute success. I think it's going to be awesome, and I think you can go places where I can't or won't.
I think
you can have
won't,
a lot of fun.
I think won't is the line there, not can't.
Right.
Yeah.
There's been some definite hijinks on this show, mostly because Steve and I started that in the chat.
which is why I wanted you both on at
Yeah.
the same time, so that you can't cause crap in the chat. Because as you notice, the chat is actually pretty quiet today, which I like.
That's true.
Yeah. So, but obviously, folks, we're joking. There's all love here. Yeah. So, anyways, gonna be a good time. We'll get Stevie out on the road in 2024, hitting up all the different cities. So I shared my favorite and my least favorite. Any favorites or unfavorites for you guys on the Project World tour?
I'm very curious about Albuquerque. That's
Okay.
coming up. That's new. So
Yes, it is.
I've never been. I don't know. I just want to see the city. I want to see what that's all about. I feel like that's it. The venue is supposed to be beautiful, so I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Steve,
I'm still waiting for Australia to come back.
Ooh.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I have been trying to get in Amy's ear about an Australian tour. I think we need a stop on the West Coast. I think we need like the West Coast, like West Coast of the US, like LA, San Diego. No. We need a West Coast. And unfortunately, I'm gonna miss Albuquerque this year. I'm missing two stops this fall, which is a bit unusual, but just other stuff that has been settled and is in discussions prevent that. But yeah, I'm gonna be kicking it with you guys in Boston and Chicago.
Wonderful.
Yeah, Seattle could work, but Seattle's a little close to Vancouver. I'm talking like Southern SoCal. Like
Jamie Champagne's been pitching Honolulu.
Oh, Honolulu would be fire.
She wants that one.
Honolulu would be like the new Orlando.
Yeah.
So if you
not just because of the volcanoes, it would be fire. It would just be like fire because of
just awesome.
fun. The fun. We could all go for poo-poos, and it would be so much fun.
Go on.
Yeah. So we could do like Orlando in the spring, and Honolulu in the fall, and I think that would be awesome. And yeah, I mean Santa Barbara works. Rachel, I've got an angle in Santa Barbara. I'm trying to work for Amy right now, which could be fun because I'm going to be flying into Santa Barbara in about 2 weeks. So that's going to be fun.
Wait, I think I have it.
Yeah.
What about Project World Business Analyst or Project Summit Business Analyst World Alcatraz?
Oh,
and then we just run out Alcatraz, do the whole thing, and then now everybody has their own cell that they get to listen to us from, and we just go there.
There it is,
captive audience.
Yep.
Amy, we are solving problems for you. Project World, BA World, Alcatraz. There it is.
Done.
There it is. Amy is begging to get on the show. There's only 10 minutes left. I'm not going to do that. Sorry, Amy. We'll have to have you on another time. I know why you want to be on. We'll get you on. Don't worry.
She wants to show off her new best friend.
Puppy. I know. Puppy. Bob McStuffins.
Teddy.
No, Bob McStuffins. That is the name that I've given him. That's his name.
Oh.
Bob McStuffins.
Teddy Bob.
Oh, wait.
Montana.
I don't know if we can pass up this offer. Hold on. Hold the phone here.
I can take you out to cat tipping out here.
I mean, there's
cat tipping everywhere. Is there? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I just excuse my my stereotyping of America. because I was like, oh, cool, we can do some cow tipping in Butte.
Can't
But
you do that in like Alberta or something?
I mean, but we're nicer to our cows. We don't generally tip them.
You need to do some training before that. You got to be able to run away.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, here's another one. The community is coming together to bring some fire here. This is awesome. I mean, we've got Seattle, we've got Montana, we've got Vegas. I think they would all work.
Alcatraz.
I mean, Rachel also brings up a very valid point. If we're gonna do cow tipping, we should go to the dairy state. That makes sense. But yeah, I mean, we're now trying to grow Amy's empire. So this show is all about growing empires, just growing and growing.
I just think national parks would be best, like Grand Canyon. We just do that.
Ooh.
Hoover Dam, something like that, where
like actually on the dam.
On the dam, correct? Yeah.
How about like the Golden Gate Bridge edition? I got it.
4:30 on Friday.
Project Summit, BA World, Mount Rushmore. We could do it on one of their noses or something.
Yeah. I
Hold
think
on.
There's a population that would be very unhappy with that suggestion.
Generally speaking, I would agree with you. Okay, I got it. Project Summit. Sorry, because it's in Canada. Project World, BA World, Behind the Falls.
Oh, that'd be cool.
You're just
chilly
the entire time.
Because there is a tour behind the falls. I don't know if you guys have ever done that. You can do the Behind the Falls tour. It's pretty cool.
Made of the Mist?
No,
it's different.
Okay.
So that's the boat ride. It takes you near the falls. On the Canadian side, there is a tour that takes you through the rock, and you can actually get right next to the falls. So like you can't touch them, but there's a platform built right next to the falls where you are getting misted on.
Ponchos are not good enough.
Ponchos are not good enough. And that's where you take those funny pictures like I'm taking a shower, like because the falls are literally that close. It's really cool.
I think if we did Epcot, then we could just get all of these different areas all at once in one day.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. Everything. This is true. So Amy, what Amy needs to do is book us into a hotel at Epcot and host the conference there. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That could be the global event so that we go to Orlando twice.
I like it. That's glorious.
Solving problems.
Man, this is why analysts can't get on shows and do stuff like this, because
just
full circle.
Yeah, and we actually haven't resolved anything because
nothing's resolved. Yeah.
None of us have the ability to actually influence this decision other than you should totally do this. Right. Beyond that, we have no authority.
Right.
We're enablers.
We're antagonists. That's what we are. We're antagonists. We're pains in the ass.
Oh yeah, that's the best part.
That's awesome. But yeah, and then any other? So AJ, now that you're jumping in the keynote ring, any other stops that you've got scheduled, or you just want to get your feet wet and see where it goes from there?
Yeah, so looking into next year, see what happens next year. I think there might be, and don't tell Amy, there might be some Microsoft opportunities as well to take some of this and be a little bit more technical in speaking events that I'm doing. Yeah,
very cool, very cool. Steve, how about you, man? Are you doing any like webinars for chapters? You doing anything?
Not at the moment.
Still laying low. Okay.
Laying low. I've got a couple in the works that I've got some effort into them.
Mm-hmm.
Need to actually finish the effort, complete them. So I've got a variety. One is focused on the analyst side. Another is more global resilience.
There you go. I like those topics that are more universal because you can take them outside. And it's not that I don't want to give my good stuff to the BA community. Not at all. But I think there are things that we talk, like I talk a lot about organizational culture and behavior and that sort of thing. I think there's stuff that we talk about that it's applicable in the BA community, but it's applicable outside as well.
Yep.
You know, anytime you talk about leadership, like that applies anywhere. I think it was picked for Chicago. I got a new one around that's going to highlight like my background as a political scientist. Let's organize the organization through the eyes of political scientists. So there you go. All right, Steve's laying low. AJ's getting out there. Vince isn't going to talk about anything, so he doesn't give anything away, but has a lot of cool things being talked about perhaps this year.
So when do we find that out?
Soon, I hope. I'm listen, I'm trying to go. So I'm international, yo, and we all are, by the way. But you know, because I spoke in the UK once, I can claim that international status. I am trying to go elsewhere. I'm trying to actually make this global thing meaningful and mean something. So,
All right, very nice.
hopefully more on that soon. But yeah,
Where can we find out, Vince?
well, you can probably find out here when I know,
When you have a
but
show.
it'll be on my website at some point. But yeah, it'll be here, or you know, if somehow I get invited to Analysts After Dark, you know, maybe that's where the news breaks. I don't know. This is going to be like those people that go on talk shows and like, I'm officially announcing my candidacy for president of the United States. Like, it's going to be one of those.
Breaking news because we broke it.
Breaking news. There you go.
I'm good at breaking things.
So then, now that you suggested, when are you free to do Analysts After Dark?
My friend,
July 19th?
so you know what? Oddly enough, the summer is going to be great because while the kids are in school, evenings are hard. It's bedtime and like you got to get them ready for bed. But during the summer, it's like the Wild West over here.
They just do whatever they want to. They wake up at noon. Fine.
I mean, kind of. So you throw out some dates and we'll talk. We'll figure it out. Figure it out.
So then we're gonna have to bug you for a topic too. So it's gonna have to be on either like leadership or political science or something, right?
Okay. Well, maybe we'll coincide it with when I'm going to be out at LinkedIn Learning Studios in a couple weeks, and we could talk about building thought leadership and course content. Maybe we could talk about that.
All right, sounds like a plan.
But we'll figure out dates. But yeah, I'm going to be out there in a couple weeks. That's exciting. Recording. I'm going to be recording course number 7.
Very cool.
In a year and a half, course number 7, and I'm at risk of really pissing them off because it's like, how does this guy get 7 courses? But I'm just trying to catch up to Jamie. Jamie is kicking my ass, and Jamie Champagne will be on Analysts After Dark.
Yeah,
July the 5th, 8 p.m. Eastern, which I think is a great way for us to end this episode because the hour has once again flown by.
So
one request for anyone watching. Yeah. So check out analystsafterdark.com. And then we are 100% open to all of your own confessions or questions that you have as well. So if you've seen some funky stuff and you want to tell on people anonymously, of course, of course, then please, and we would love to be able to share those and talk about the fun stuff that we get to see as analysts. And not necessarily be able to change, but watch as it unfolds and know that you said, I told them this 6 months ago. And then now you get to see that come to fruition and blow up in people's faces. So
I love that you guys are doing that. I love that you guys are doing the show. I'm really excited for I'm excited for episode 10. Because episode 1 is always bad. And yours was pretty good.
How dare you?
No.
Historically speaking, your first time doing something is bad.
Well, sure.
Right? And yours was pretty good. So I can't wait to see what the rhythm that you hit at episode 10 because that's where you will get into that rhythm. And I can't wait, dude. You guys are doing great stuff. I'm really excited for you, and happy to be enabling it. By the way, like I'm, you guys are you got a free ride right now. We'll have to talk about how that what that looks like. But
oh wow, now you're trying to make money off of this.
I'm shaking them down right now.
Steve?
Shoot, this was supposed to be off air.
Wow.
Anyways, boys,
Because I'll spend something up tomorrow, Vince, on my own dime, just to prove you wrong, so I don't have to pay you a nickel.
So boys, I appreciate you coming on. We're past time, and I don't mind going over a couple minutes, but any final thoughts, any parting words that you want to leave the good folks with?
Take it away, AJ.
I don't have anything wise or intelligent to say pretty much most of the time, so I think I'll just leave it. I've already said it. Okay. It's already happened.
All right. So go back, everyone, and watch this episode a second time to hear everything that AJ has said, and then pick out the gold from there.
It's wisdom, just nothing but wisdom. Yeah.
Stevie?
I'll say be a contributor to analystsafterdark.com. We've got a couple opportunities of how you can. Gives us more opportunity to have fun with it. I love fun. Choose happy.
And speaking on Jamie Champagne, July the 5th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. in Honolulu. Guys, thank you. I am trying to help here.
That was great.
Boys,
what time is that India Standard Time?
I don't know, man.
Oh, you had like 4 of them right there off the top of your head, so I was just curious.
I mean, it was pretty good, right? It's
great.
It's 1 a.m. in the UK. It's 2 a.m. in Europe. So Belgium, Amsterdam, Rome, Madrid. You're at 2 a.m. It's 6 hours difference.
It's 11 and a half hours IST
to India to like
7:30 a.m.
Fine. So you're just waking up. It's Analysts After Dark, and it might still be dark there. I don't know. But boys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You don't have to go away, but we're going to go off air. For everyone that joined today, I appreciate you. Hope you join in the next episode. I'm trying to be a little bit more deliberate with this, so I am planning out episodes ahead, and I know it's scary. So get ready, because the if you've been on the show before, the spreadsheet is coming back out, because I need people to sign up. But this has been episode 3.3 of Analysts After Work. Steve Jones, AJ Hawley, thanks again, and we will catch you guys in the next episode. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.